Generosity myth number 2, if I had more, I would give more. Now, is that really true? Because the truth is that if you're not generous with what you have now, you're not going to be generous if you have a lot more. Some of the most generous people I have ever met in the world would include a Romanian missionary, not missionary family, pastor's family during or right on the heels of the days of communism. Or actually an unbelieving Albanian, an Albanian atheist, following the heels of communism, a very poor. He fed us a feast that probably took a month's salary for him to save up for what you and I would have been just an everyday meal. Or I think about refugees living on the streets in Athens, Greece, who would invite me into their cardboard box or to their tent and share whatever they had to eat with me when I didn't need it and they couldn't, quote, afford to give it. And yet these were some of the most generous people I have ever met in my life who had really so little to give. Because generosity doesn't have anything to do with quantity. It doesn't have to do with quantity of money in your wallet or your bank account or your credit card account. It has to do with quality. It has to do with the quality of the condition of your heart. I remember hearing a story about a Sunday school class with 10-year-old boys. And the junior Sunday school teacher asked her eager 10-year-olds if they would give $1 million to the missionaries. Yes, they all screamed. Would you give $1,000? Again, they shouted, yes. How about $100? Oh, yes, we would, they all agreed. Would you give just $1 to the missionaries, she asked. The boys exclaimed yes, just as before, except for Johnny. Johnny, the teacher said as she noticed the boy clutching his pocket, why didn't you say yes this time? Well, he stammered, I have $1. So willing to give what we don't have, but not so willing to give what we do. The truth of the matter is, if we're not generous with what we have now, we're not going to be generous with what we have later. John D. Rockefeller, one of America's first millionaires, said, I never would have been able to tithe the first $1 million I ever made if I had not tithed my first salary, which was $1.50 per week. The truth is, if we're not generous with what we have now, we won't be generous if we have more later.